Okay, guys, here's our next lecture. The topic is B2B, business to business, and databases. How are they used in business to business marketing? And I've got to get the slides to advance, which is always a bit of a chore. There we go. Whoa! I hope you liked my new design for our opening slide for our class. Thought we needed something dramatic just to, shock all of you. Here's the agenda. The agenda is, what is that thing doing there? I don't even know. Go away. No, go away. Come back. Okay. The agenda is we're going to start this lecture with me actually doing a little story time, quote unquote. I like to do that from time to time. Those of you who had me before. I'm going to read a couple of passages from this book called Being Direct by Lester Wunderman, the founder of what is now the Wunderman Agency. It's the largest direct response and interactive agency in the world. And the reading has two purposes. One is it definitely bears on B2B marketing because the sections I've chosen have to do with Lester Wunderman leaving an agency he's worked at for 12 years and starting his own agency and having to deal with how to get clients, etc. And the agency business is really B2B marketing. And the product being sold is basically the talents and skills of the people at the agency and what they can do. So it's a very ephemeral, very heavy relationship sort of business, as in fact many business-to-business marketing / sales situations are. You have lots fewer clients when you're B2B normally. An agency could have a handful of clients, a small agency to, a huge agency could have dozens, but it certainly isn't millions like an Amazon. And so that means each client can have a more dramatic impact on your revenue. It also means you have more time to do real personal focused sales efforts and other kinds of things. You can spend more money, in other words, building relationships and kind of doing your CRM. As opposed to automating everything, which is more or less what we do with databases for B2C, which is what we pretty much talked about this term. This can be all kind of handmade stuff, but it is still pretty smart to have a customer database and a CRM platform built into your business. And we're going to spend a lot of time in this particular lecture focusing on the leading B2B CRM platform, which is called Salesforce.com. So we're going to start with a little story time from Lester. Hopefully you'll also learn a few lessons about dealing with people corporately because he's a pretty tough customer, Lester, and pretty smart. And so are other people that he was dealing with, but he won the day. We're going to talk quickly about a current event, a recent data breach, just for a minute. We're going to talk kind of conceptually about B2B marketing and some of the ways it's different from B2C, but how databases are involved and MVCs are involved, etc. LVCs are involved. And then I'm going to briefly mention what was the first CRM platform for B2B that I was aware of in marketing. It was called ACT, and was launched in the 80s. And lots of sales forces around the country used ACT to keep track of things and to get reminders, etc. And at first it was not web enabled, and so when other people came along that were web enabled, ACT got left in the dust. And that's another B2B marketing lesson because ACT is in B2B. They're selling their software to companies, right? So you have to keep innovating and keep up with things. You can't just stick with the same product or you're gonna lose out. So you can't hold still. Then we're going to spend a lot of time on Salesforce.com. We'll talk a little bit about LinkedIn, which of course is the social media platform for business. And all this, in a way, kind of helps set up our new individual project. which I'm recommending. I hope we end up agreeing to go with it. If not, I guess I'll have to go back and do some editing in this. Maybe I'll stop before I get to the project in case, because I'm recording this on Wednesday, the day of our class, and it's 11:30, and we have our class video conference at 2:10. And anyway, don't know how it's going to end up. So don't want to be overconfident. And HubSpot.com is a free version of, in its own way, Salesforce.com. Salesforce.com is expensive. And FIT has no need to have a subscription to it, and it doesn't. But HubSpot.com is free, web-enabled B2B CRM and sales management. And I'm recommending that we get on that and we use that and put that to use. But for ourselves, individually, not as part of a team. And that would be our team project. So, moving right along. Here's the current events. I just heard this on NPR today. Marriott Hotels just announced a data breach. And hackers were responsible for breaching the data of 5.2 million people. And here's some of the details. Internal data system, personal information of 5.2 million guests, names, contact details, and addresses. They found this at the end of February, so they've waited a month to tell us. And it was accessed starting in mid-January. You can see it was accessed using the logins of 2 employees at a franchise property. So, like most hotels, Marriott is just a central kind of brand name. And the individual hotels in different cities or parts of the world are owned by independent companies that are franchises. So evidently one of these franchisees had some employees that somehow got into some things or something. And here is the information that was taken. Names, gender, age, and maybe other personal details, address, email address, phone numbers. Loyalty information for their rewards program, including account numbers and points balances, but not passwords. Your employer information on affiliations, such as linked airline loyalty programs and numbers, or AARP or something like that, and then room and hotel preferences. So that's what they got. They did not supposedly get any credit card information. So anyway, so there's one more database being invaded. And again, these we know from Walter Kerner, our databases are very vulnerable. Lots of ways to sneak in, and we had better be aware of that. And now we talk about B2B. I think I'm going to stop here and make this a little chunk, and then pick up on the other